All right, so we talked about angle bisectors back when we were on our chapter that was just about angles. So just to refresh our memory, if you have any old angle, right? So let's just call this angle ABC. If you have an angle bisector, what that means is that, well, let's just say the angle ABC was 50 degrees, okay? So if you had a ray or a line or a segment or whatever that came in as an angle bisector, it cuts the angle into two exactly equal parts, okay? So we had something like this. We'd have ray BD, and if ray BD is in fact going to be an angle bisector, then you would know that these two new angles are going to be equal to each other. So if, as I had said before, if we left angle ABC, if it really was 50 degrees, and I had an angle bisector, that means each of my two new angles are both going to be 25, right? So angle 1 now must be 25 degrees, and angle 2 is going to be 25 degrees. Okay, so that's kind of what we had done. We're doing the same exact thing now. It's just instead of it being an angle, I'm just turning it into a triangle. So if you imagine for a second that I had created triangle ABC, it's going to work the same exact way. If I have an angle bisector, it's just going to cut one of the angles of the triangle into two smaller but congruent angles. All right, so let's just jot that down in words. Remember that vocab word, bisect. Bisect an angle, which just means divides into two equal angles. They have to be equal though. So if it's a 100-degree angle, it's got to be 50 and 50. If it's an 18-degree angle, it's got to be 9 and 9. You can't take a 20-degree angle, for example, and cut it into 15 and 5. That's cutting it into two angles, but they're not two equal angles. So the bisector part is crucial. Okay, so let me give you a second to jot that down. Okay, now when we're looking at an angle bisector in a triangle, you have to be a little bit careful at first. So if I just draw you any old triangle, and then I go in and I draw you something like this. Oh, let me down a little bit. So if this is my image, right now you have absolutely no idea if AC is an angle bisector or not. You have no idea if it's a median or an altitude or a perpendicular bisector because there's no markings, right? So right now, AC is just some random line. There's nothing that we know about it. However, once I start putting in some markings, then we would know. So in order for me to know that AC is an angle bisector, I'd have to know somehow that these two smaller angles are going to be equal to each other. Okay, if I don't know that, then I don't know that I have an angle bisector. So how would I know that? I could say in words, angle 1 and angle 2 are equal to each other, or more commonly, you're just going to see them marked as congruent angles, like that. So once I establish that I do have a line segment that's cutting one of my original angles of the triangle into two equal parts, now I can say that AC is an angle bisector. Okay, so far so good. Let's try and throw some numbers in here and see how that goes. All right, so let's see, how should I do this? I'm going to give you a set of directions. All right, so I'm telling you in the directions that AC is always going to be an angle bisector. All right, so now we know that. So whether I mark it or not, okay, and you're going to be in charge of find the value of X. All right, let's try that. All right, so in these three pictures here, I want you to solve for X, knowing that in each of them, oops, I forgot to label this as AC. AC is always going to be an angle bisector. Okay, so you've got three different triangles. There we go. I'm trying to get it all in at the same time. Oops, too far, too far. We're going to start off easy and then we'll step it up a notch. All right, so my very first triangle, I'm going to zoom in a bit so we can see more easily. What is the measure? What is the value of X in this first triangle? Oh, do I have a volunteer or should I pick on you at random? Okay, I'll pick on you at random. Let's see. Vinny, what is the value of X in this? If we know that AC is an angle bisector.
It'd be 25.
Yes. If that one's 25, this one's got to be 25 because they are equal to each other. So that one was nice and easy. They both have to be 25s. Perfect. Okay, my next triangle. Let's see what's going on with this one. This one here, same thing. I still know that AC is an angle bisector. So what must the value of X be? Olivia.
Would it be 19?
Yeah, if this one's 19, This one's 19. Perfect. Angle bisectors, they got to be equal. Now, though, things change a little bit in my third triangle. You still have an angle bisector, but now what is the value of x? Kira, how about you?
35.
Yes, 35. The whole angle is 70, and I want just that one. So it's got to be half of it. Does that make sense, everybody? So this one's got to be 35, and this other one over here would also be 35 if I was asking for that. So that's the only way that that's going to work if I know for a fact that AC is an angle bisector, which I did remember because I gave it to you in the directions right here. I told you that they were all going to be angle bisectors, so you knew ahead of time. All right, okay, let's step it up a notch. So now we're going to throw some algebra in. Let's see how this goes. All right, give me a second to draw this out. So again, I'm just going to note that AC is an angle bisector in all triangles. So we know, I'm saying it in words up here, AC is an angle bisector in all triangles. So every time we see line segment AC, we know it is in fact an angle bisector. All right, so for this particular one, let's say we had angles 1 and 2, and I told you that angle 1 was 16x plus 4, and angle 2 was 18x minus 2. Can you please find me the value of x? Maybe my green is a little too light. I wonder if I try going over it with blue. That's better. Oh yeah, much better. So please go ahead and find me the value of x if you haven't already. Ooh, I got one answer. And it looks like a good answer. Yes, another right answer. Haley and Kira, both of you correct. So hopefully you're saying to yourself, okay, well, if I know that AC is an angle bisector, that means that these two angles are going to be equal to each other. So all I have to do is come in and write that equation, 16x plus 4 equals 18x minus 2. And now you're just going to solve this like you always do. So if it's the solving the equation part that you seem to always get wrong, please stay after with me so I can help you. But we all should have ended up with 3. Oops. And remember, since it's math and math is incredible, you can take your answer and you can check it. So you could take 3 and plug it back in, see what you get here, see what you get here, and they should match, right? So real quick, if I do 16 times 3 plus 4, that's going to get me 52. So when I do it here, I'm expecting to get 52 again. And if I don't, something's probably wrong. But let's see, 18 times 3 minus 2. Well, what do you know? It's also 52. So I know for sure that I'm right. Okay, let's try another scenario. This time, you're going to have, well, here's angle 1 and angle 2. Angle 1, let's have it be x plus 16. And angle 2, 3x minus 2. Okay, I've got a couple correct answers. There are like, I don't know, how many of you are in this class? Like 15 or something? So when I'm only getting 2 answers out of like 15 of you, what's happening? Send it to me in the chat. I want to see them. Haley, you're close. Well, that makes me feel better. All right, so let's go ahead and do this one. Again, it's the same idea, right? I know that AC is an angle bisector because I told you that in the directions. So these two have to be equal to each other. So please, everybody, look at your papers and make sure that you wrote down somewhere x plus 16 equals 3x minus 2. Okay. By the way, I'm also finding out that some of you are not writing anything down. I don't know how you're going to do this. Yeah, some of them are easy enough to do in your head, but listen, I have been doing math for like 79 years. I have to write it down. Okay. I'm not saying that it's impossible, but you are so much less likely to make a mistake if you write it down. All right. I'm telling you guys, it doesn't take very long. It just takes a few seconds. So please, please, please write it down. And then if you're getting a whole bunch of things wrong, it is so much easier for me to ask you, okay, can you show me what you did? How are you going to show me if you don't write it down? I know we are all lazy people. I get it. I'm lazy too, but you gotta, it's not that much effort. All right. You should have a notebook and a pencil out anyway. So to just jot them down shouldn't be too bad. And we all should have gotten 9. Okay, so if you notice that you are writing the equation correctly, but you keep, when you solve it, you're not getting the same answers that I am, that just means that there's something's going wrong in your algebra. Okay, so just let me know and we can sort of figure out what it is. All right, but everyone should have gotten 9. Now we're going to switch gears a little bit. So let me just finish drawing you this one, and then I'll let you give it this one a shot. Let me just put these values in. I want to know what you're going to do with this thing. One second. All right, take a look at this picture. I still want you to solve for x, but this time, this is what I'm giving you. That's an 8x plus 4. So if you'll notice, the whole angle here, I'll add some letters. So angle BAD, the bad angle, that one is, the whole angle is 8x plus 4. Angle 1 is 5x minus 3. I didn't give you anything for angle 2. But I would like you to use this information coupled with the fact that AC is still an angle bisector. All segment ACs on this page are going to be angle bisectors. So see if you can solve for X here. I'll give everybody a minute. Hold on. I'm trying to respond to Olivia, and I just sent the message to Kira on accident. This chat is so confusing because you're typing, and then if someone messages you, it automatically goes to them. So anyway, so Olivia, I'm trying to message you back now. So you had as far as this problem goes, I don't think it comes out to be a, I wrote these examples down because I wanted to make sure that I had nice numbers, but I guess I could have messed up in doing that. I thought it should be nice. Let me do it real quick. Oh no, it does come out nice. But let's talk about it. Okay, so is everybody ready to figure this one out? So this should have come out as a nice number, and I think the nice number is 5, I believe. Let's figure out why. Now, here's the thing. These two are not equal to each other. So I hope your equation, look at what you wrote. If you wrote 5x minus 3 equals 8x plus 4, that can't be. Because 8x plus 4 is this whole big angle. So how could this one little piece be equal to the whole thing? It can't. Here's what I do know, okay? So is everybody with me? Because this is important. I do know that AC here is an angle bisector, right? So what does that tell me? That tells me that angles 1 and angles 2 are equal to each other. So if that one's 5x minus 3, why don't we go ahead and say that this one is also 5x minus 3? We kind of had a problem similar to this yesterday, but it was side lengths instead of angles. So now I have two of these, 5x minus 3 and 5x minus 3 together. Don't they equal the whole angle? That's going to be my equation here. So here's what I'm really doing. I'm going to take angles 1 and 2 and add, so actually I'll put it in symbols first. So I'm going to say angle 1 plus angle 2 should get me the whole big angle BAD, right? So that's what I'm doing here. And then I'm just filling in the pieces. So angle 1 is 5x minus 3. Angle 2 is 5x minus 3. And angle bad is 8x plus 4. So there's an equation that should work. All right, and now all I have to do is actually solve it, right? So 5x and 5x is 10x. And then be careful, -3 and -3 is a -6 if I'm combining like terms. And now I'm going to solve from here, so I might get the x's together, so I might subtract 8x from both sides. So now I get 2x minus 6. Those are gone, and then I still have this positive 4. And now I'm going to add 6 to both sides. And now, hopefully you can see how I end up at 5. I'm just going to divide by 2, and I get 5. All right. So we're definitely going to do another example like this. So let me just draw it for you. I might need to go to another page. I think I do. Sorry. So I have AC again. Oh. So I remember it still is an angle bisector, so angles 1 and 2 are still going to be the same. So let me give you some values. This time I'll give you angle 2. Why not? Angle 2 is going to be 26x plus 2. And the whole big angle, I'm going to give you again. So the big angle is, what is it this time? 55x minus 2. All right, so try this one. You still want to solve for x. Oh, let me give you the rest of the letters. So again, we know that angle bad is 55x minus 2. And then all I'm giving you is angle 2 this time, and I want you to solve for x again. Okay, I'm getting a couple of answers. They look like nice answers. I'm going to assume that they're right, but let's figure it out together. So, same things happening that happened in the last problem. I have an angle bisector. Please do not set these two equal to each other because they're not. Oh, shoot. Is my camera frozen? Gosh darn it. What is the matter with this stupid thing? Sorry, I gotta reset it real quick. There it is. Okay, sorry. Gets finicky sometimes. Don't we all, though? All right, so same thing's happening. I only have a value for angle 2 and not angle 1, but because AC is an angle bisector, that means this one's the same. So I'm going to go through those same steps that we talked about before. Angle 1 plus angle 2 together should get me the whole angle, BAD. So that's kind of my model, and then I just got to fill in the pieces. That's not so bad. 26x plus 2 and another 26x plus 2. Oops, forgot the x. That's important. So those two together should get me the whole angle BAD, which in this case is 55x minus 2. And now I should be able to solve no problem. 26x and 26x is 52x. 2 and 2 is 4. And now you guys should just be solving like you always do. So I'm just going to get my x's together. Add the 2, add the 2. So I get 6 equals 3x. So yes, if you said 2 as your answer, you are correct. Okay, and don't forget that math is always amazing, and you could take that and pop it back in, and you could check these values, and it should all work out nicely. Okay, I want to do one more, and then we will be done. So, same sort of scenario here. Let me just zoom out a bit. You've got a triangle here. You have an AC. Let's put B and D in. And let me give you these values. Let's say angle 1 this time is 4x minus 1. And then I will tell you that the whole big angle is going to be 1 plus 7x. Try that for me. How would this kind of work out? And then we will be pretty much done for today. I'm going to zoom in a little bit so you can see that better. This should come out to be a nice number also. Okay, seems like those of you that get it, get it. The rest of you, I have no idea because you're not sharing any answers with me. So yes, if that's 4x minus 1, this one is also 4x minus 1. And then I can write my equation accordingly. So I want both angles 1 and 2 together, 4x minus 1 and another 4x minus 1. Add them together, and that should equal the whole angle, which in this case they're saying is 1 plus 7x. So you should have an equation equivalent to this. It doesn't have to be exactly the same, because remember, you could also just do 2 times this, right? Take one of the angles and just multiply it by 2 and set it equal to that. So that would be correct too. You're doing the same thing. And now I'm just going to do my math. So I've got 4x and 4x is 8x. Be careful, -1 and -1 is -2 when you put them together. And now you're just going to solve this. So I would minus 7x, and then I would add the 2. So I get x equals 3. And I'm done. All right, guys. So any questions so far? No? You sure? You guys make me nervous when there's no questions, but I can't force you to ask any. All right, so your homework is going to be on CUDA-Works again. So give me 1 second, and I'll make it live for you. We'll do a couple together if you need me to. Let's just close down this practice quiz. We don't need that right now. So this one is homework 8. 6.3 on angle bisectors. Homework 8, here it is. Okay, let me post this. Give me just a sec. All right, so it is posted for you now. Oh, shoot. Oh, actually, I don't think it matters. I forgot to make it multiple choice, but I think it automatically does it. So let me know if it's not, but I think it does it anyway. Oh, silly goose.
This is on CUDA, right?
Yes, CUDA. So you might have to hit refresh if you were already in it. Homework 8, 6.3 angle bisectors. So I'm going to do a couple if anybody is still a little confused, but if you feel good and you just want to do it on your own, you go for it. Let me just put this in presentation mode. And here we go. All right, so the first section is just going to be numbers. So be careful though what they're asking you to find though, because it's going to change with every question. So in this particular one, they're giving you the value of angle 1 as 33. But they are not asking what angle 2 is. They're asking for the whole angle, YWX. So that's the whole thing. So if that angle 1 is 33, the whole thing would have to be 66, right? Because if 1's 33, that means 2 is also 33. So then the whole angle is 66. Okay, try another one. Let's do one. All right, here's one that's a little bit different. They're giving you the measure of the whole angle to start with. So XVW, so that's this whole big angle they're telling you is 62. And they want you to find the measure of angle 1. So if the whole thing is 62, that means just angle 1 would have to be 31, wouldn't it? Because you'd have 31 and 31 to get to 62. All right. I want to go back to number 1. Did I do that one right? Yeah, I did. Okay, good. Eventually, oh, here's one. This one's nice and easy. This one, they're giving you angle 1. They just want angle 2. So, well, that's easy. If 1's 39, then 2's got to be 39. And then eventually you're going to hit ones that involve a little bit of algebra, right? So let's check out these two. If angle 1 is 8x and angle 2 is 7x plus 2, how do I solve this one? Well, remember that angles 1 and 2 are just going to be equal to each other. So that's all I have to do here. I'm going to do 7x plus 2 equals 8x. And now I have my equation that works, that makes sense. The two smaller angles are always just equal to each other. So now I just solve for x real quick, and I'm going to get 2 in this case. And that's a choice, so that's pretty good. All right, and then you got to be careful because they're going to switch it up on you with one like this. So these are the kind that we were just trying in the notes. So if angle 1 is 4x plus 5, but then SQR, the whole big angle, that's 9x plus 1. The whole thing. I should switch colors. That whole thing is 9x plus 1. So what do? Well, they're not equal. Please do not set them equal to each other because you're going to get that wrong. What is true is that angles 1 and 2 are equal. So angle 2 is also a 4x plus 5. So now I can remember what we were saying. Angle 1 plus angle 2 together would get me the whole angle. The whole angle in this case is SQR. So that's sort of the model that I'm following. So now I can come in and say, oh yeah, okay, that's fine. So let's see how this would work. Angle 1 was 4x plus 5. Angle 2 is 4x plus 5. And the whole big angle was 9x plus 1. So there's my equation. Now I just have to solve it. 4x and 4x is 8x. 5 and 5 is 10. 9x plus 1. And then I just solve. In this case, I get 9 equals x. So there's my answer, 9, and it looks like that's choice C. So I feel pretty confident. Okay, so I think that's all the different types that you're going to, yep, that's it. So those are the different types you're going to see. And does anybody have any questions?